So we found out we were pregnant, check with the doctor, and doctor's like, yep, you definitely are. So set up the ultrasounds. We have to wait for the ultrasound. We could actually see a little heartbeat, and to our surprise, it was 2 little heartbeats that we were able to see. It was amazing, but terrifying.
They say nobody's really ever ready for kids. I didn't know if I was or not, so I was mostly nervous. I mean, I was excited too, but mostly nervous.
And then it came to December when I realized I might be having some health issues, so I talked with my obstetrician. The next day was Christmas Eve, and that's when the pathology reports came back saying, yes, this is definitely cancer.
Honestly, at first, I think I was in shock. I didn't even really react to it. I remember sitting in the room and Jolene was immediately upset, but I wasn't, because I don't know, I felt like maybe I wasn't hearing it right. It was just really, really shocking to me. One of our first concerns was, given her position in the pregnancy, was whether we were going to still be able to have the kids or not. It was a bit scary there.
We did get some information about, when you're going through chemo and pregnant, here's some long-term things that could happen, but there's no other option. Treatment couldn't wait for my health reasons. Treatment absolutely could not wait. I was going to be meeting with the surgeon, meeting with the oncologist, getting an MRI done to make sure the cancer hadn't spread, getting an ultrasound done, make sure cancer hadn't spread, x-rays, and it was just a blur of a week and so incredibly emotional. And even though I was the one going for an x-ray or an MRI, he's the one waiting in that room also wondering what's going on, what are we going to find out from this?
When she was doing the MRIs, for sure, I thought I was going to pass out. It was rough. Thinking about it now, it's still rough.
And then came the day where chemo started. In my head, I was going to be in a very dark, gloomy place, and that wasn't the case. You show up there and every nurse that you meet is smiling and happy. I don't think they have bad days there. They're always just so comforting and supporting.
And the people in there are amazing. The doctors, the nurses, they really seem to care and go out of their way to care.
I started chemo when I was 25 weeks pregnant. It's terrifying sitting in that chair, but knowing that this is what I have to go through for me to be healthy and not knowing exactly what it's going to do to my 2 babies.
So my obstetrician said that we have a date to have the boys, and it was right before I was 36 weeks pregnant, and it's basically, yep, next Thursday we're going to schedule you in. I'm like, that's next week. I'm going to be a mom next week. The boys were born 3 minutes apart, and I did have a chance to see both the boys. They both had hair, which I was super happy for, because like I said, I was very bald at this point. So I was quite sick, and I didn't get to see my boys for almost a full day. I was kept in the loop on how they were doing, so I knew they both had feeding tubes in their nose just because they weren't wanting to eat very much, and that was fine. I knew they were in good hands there, and these nurses, they knew what they were doing. Luckily, Brad, he spent a lot of time with them. He took pictures of them, took videos, sent them to me, and that was my motivation to, okay, I gotta feel better so I can go visit them. So the next day when the nurses came saying, Kate, let's go for a walk, I was ready to go. That was the best moment ever when they finally wheeled me into the NICU, and I got to see both of them. They're right beside each other. They had all their fingers, they had all their toes. Then we got them all bundled up like little sausages.
We do have top tier people that work here, and it gives you confidence that my kids are getting the best care they can be, and Jolene is getting the best care that she can be.
The day that I had them both at home and both in their cribs was the best moment ever. And they were so tiny in there. Said I always cried that part. Yeah. Yeah.
And so once I was done chemo, I did have a double mastectomy. So then I couldn't lift my boys for 6 weeks because there's a lifting restriction. It was 6 weeks and it just flew by. And after that 6 weeks, you better believe I was just holding both of them at once, because I didn't want to have to go through that. It was the best feeling ever. When I had my last treatment, I couldn't even make it out of the room before I started crying. Had both my boys with me there, my mom was there, we rang that bell, the nurses are all cheering, and it's just like, I can't believe this is done. Like, I can't believe I made it through all of this, and now I can just focus on healing. And that's where I am now, is the focusing on healing.
I'd never really seen, I guess, sort of the specialty side of our healthcare system before. That would be like cancer doctors, the high-risk pregnancy, the people in the NICU. You know, I'd never seen that before. I've mostly just dealt with fairly minor things. And I honestly just can't say enough good things about the people in any of those places. Like I said, I mean, I was nervous to become a father, but I love it. Every day, my favorite thing is coming home and having them smile at me when I come home. I love it.
Everybody was so compassionate. Every tech that we met, every doctor, every nurse was just so knowledgeable on breast cancer treatment and how to get everybody back to what their new normal is going to be. And my healthcare team, my kids' healthcare team, like everybody was just right there for me. The compassion is absolutely amazing. Like I said, they felt like a part of the family. And there's not even a way I could ever say thank you enough.